Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So further details about how to join us for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we looked at the initial halt of MMTLP from the OTC, and in today's video we're going to be following on from that, looking at some additional further details. There's some important announcements provided by John Berder which we are also going to be looking at, and the other key development is the alleged market makers who created MMTLP, and there is some controversy that we're going to share with regard to them. They have been exposed, and we're also going to be looking at additional opinions, and I'm also going to be finishing off by sharing with you what you can do as an investor to express your concerns. So let's first of all start by having a look at an important announcement from John Berder himself, and he stated here, for clarity, wanted to let everybody know that I've resigned my role as consultant with Metamaterials so I can be free of any misconception that I speak for the company. Tweets are my own, opinions are my own as well. Strong still with George Paldikaras and Metamaterials, but obviously for now, bearing in mind the situation, needed to be free from any of those suggestions. But this is great news as far as I'm concerned and most investors are concerned, because it will allow John to speak more freely and also share information that he may not previously felt he could share. So let's go and see what John has shared in addition to that. So what he stated here, I think another important thing we need to investigate, and that is needs further investigation. Is this common? What is done with it? How do we investigate further to see how this is settled? So he's given a shout out here to Snorri Jeff, who's posted information for MMTLP QSIP liability number mentioned by Fidelity earlier today. So obviously we've got the QSIP number there, 591994371. So that's announced by Fidelity. Also shout out here to Kathleen Sweeney, who's also just got off the phone with Fidelity, and she's saying they will not force closing, will issue a liability QSIP for any short hedge funds, at which point it is no longer their problem. So overall, it looks like a little bit of confusion. We will await for further information from Fidelity regarding these developments, but for now I think we have to expect a lot more breaking news and changes to happen. And the other development that John has shared is with regard to information here, and what he stated is, have these matters been resolved by the New York Stock Exchange? So these matters refer to an investigation dating back, we can see 9th of December 2021 and also 18th of June 2021. So the investigation at the top is with regard to Mr. Rubenstein, investigating his activities for alleged violations of the SEC Act 1934, Rule 10b-5, Section 9a, and this is with regard to trading of a particular regarding to trading strategy. And the other one is also with the same person, Mr. Rubenstein, and investigating for alleged for activities for alleged sections of violations of Section 10b SEC again. So it would be positive and helpful for updates from the New York Stock Exchange, and it has been over a year now, so we do need a resolution to this. And the key name I'd like you to remember is Mr. Rubenstein, and we're going to focus on him next. Let's now have a look at news with regard to the two market makers who have been allegedly exposed for creating MMTLP. So I'm going to share with you here an article December the 1st 2022, and this indicates that these two market makers also have history, especially with regarding other stocks. So this is regarding a company called Northwest Biotherapeutics, and they are accusing the market makers of illicit spoofing trade. So this is something that is not only going on with MMTLP, but many other companies across the trading platforms on the NASDAQ, on the New York Stock Exchange, and especially on the OTC are experiencing. And I think if everybody looks at certain companies that are doing exceptionally well, beating their earnings, but if you look at the charts, what's going on over the previous year, they are down 70%, 80%. That is consistent. I get on many stocks, especially the penny stocks. They are down, and the one reason they're down is because of excessive shorting. So that's the problem. So let's have a look at the two companies here. Northwest, whose shares trade over the counter, also sued Ganacod's Genuity Incorporated, and also GTS Securities LLC. So these are the two companies that we're going to identify, and these have been identified as the potential to market makers creating MMTLP. So this is a post I shared earlier with regard to what John Berder shared, and that was Ari Rubenstein. So remember that name. That was from the investigation from the New York Stock Exchange. You are alleged to be a market maker behind the creation of MMTLP. Please explain your intentions, as thousands of honest retail investors obviously have invested. You have a right to remain silent, but anything you will say will be used against you in a court of law. So therefore I do not expect him to say anything. But this was shared initially by John Berder, so shout out here to the person who shared that with John Berder. But this is interesting here. One of the market makers who created and had MMTLP trading is on the board of Finra. So this is quite staggering. And who is this person? It's again the very famous Ari Rubenstein, who will have the right to remain silent. Is the co-founder of GTS, that's the market maker, and surprise, surprise, coincidence here, and is a board member of Finra. So the allegation here, this is illegal, hashtag Finra fraud. So we'll come to Ari in near the end as well, but let's have a look at other history with regard to Ari. So shout out here to the company called Curta Law, and they have also got Ari Rubenstein under investigation by the New York Stock Exchange. So shout out to Curta Law, who I'm sure are going to do an excellent job pursuing this market maker, and also representative of Finra. Shout out here to Ezio, who stated we know who it is, and obviously let's get the attorneys on it. We're looking at huge fraud, we're looking at misconduct, and we're looking at market manipulation, certainly. So overall, not a great situation, but I think we are scratching the surface of what is going on, and it's not looking good. The next shout out is quite an important one, and that is to Deadeye SI, also hashtag Finra fraud. And this is some important information tagging in a number of people, including myself. And what he stated here: spoke to my lawyer in Denmark this morning, told him the story and what Finra has done, and also showed him excerpts from a video. I'm not sure what the video was, but let's have a look at what he stated in the thread. So continuing with that, he stated here, if you remember my previous video, this is something that I also shared with you that was available on Yahoo Finance, the price of $6.15. And in the previous video, I also stated that Friday was expected to be the day of the squeeze. And coincidentally, it was also the day of the halt. So it was trading was halted. Here he understands the dynamics of shorting and positive price action that closing shorts creates. He looked at the price action day prior, 60% drop, and also the board of directors at Finra. His take is very clear. Obvious conflict of interest at Finra. The board member also works for financial institutions who are most likely to short and obviously make money by shorting. It's not clear they have lost control of synthetic share counts. There is no way for them to close. We're in a very tricky situation. He would have known for some time, hence the delay. So we're talking about Ari. He would know everything. He does not think that he can get out of this unless Meta gives them the shares they need, allowing the shorts to get away with it. So it's a clear signal. I think, and investors think, that the integrity of the US markets is online, and it's also going to open the door for massive lawsuits. Not only retail are going to do these lawsuits, I expect the company to do the lawsuits. SEC is going to lose credibility. Department of Justice will have to get involved, not forcing shorts to close. Shorts don't like losing, so they're playing dirty. That's what's happening. Retail we lose, we take it on the chin. We don't go out complaining to anyone. If there's no squeeze, no problem, but let the trade continue. Great post here by Finra fraud, and let's just finish off the post to have a look at the final part of it. And he stated here, no future when shorting. Think about what he said. If they got away with this, what stops them from creating trillions of synthetic shorts to bankruptcy any company they want? Because even if it backfires, they can always rely on the regulators to pull the MMTLP trick that we have just seen. So this trick that that was used by Finra was used on the basis of a rule that apparently is very rarely used. So that's another thing I think I would like Finra to explain. So he told me officially to complain to Finra about their actions. So I am going to be sharing details about how to complain, and I'm going to be sharing with you details of text with regard to complaint as well shortly. Let's now focus on what you can do as a retail investor. So this is a post that I shared, and in this post I copied in Finra, the DTCC, the SEC, and also John Berder, and we can see here that this did have a reach close to 50,000 people. So the message is out there, and the message now trending is hashtag Finra fraud. So the other post that I've shared here just earlier today is with regard to complaining and instructions. So if you go to the post there, it says have added in a sample complaint form that you can edit and change and also submit. So we're going to have a look at how to do that now, but this is the website that you're going to. So once you go on there, there's a headline here, Finra, file a complaint. Before you file a complaint with Finra, contact your firm. I'm sure you've already done that. You've probably contacted Robinhood, TDA, Charles Schwab, etc. So go ahead and fill in this complaint. So let's have a look at a sample of a complaint that I've shared for everybody to use. So this is available on the subreddit MMAT, and it's also available on my Twitter handle. So this is something that you can edit and change. So I'm only going to focus on the two key complaints. The rest of it is just a little bit of a background. But the first part of the complaint is, I would like to add this complaint, add the complaint about a potential conflict of interest regarding Ari Rubenstein, who is a member on the board of Finra and also the co-founder of GTS. This is clearly going against Finra's mission statement of dedicated to protecting investors, safeguarding market integrity in a manner that facilitates vibrant capital markets. So that's my first complaint, number one. And my other complaint, number two, at the bottom, also in bold, just to focus your attention on, and that is for the final part of my complaint. I would like all investors, including myself, to benefit from a free and fair market. You can abide by your mission statement by allowing the preferred share to complete 2 more days of trading, compel all shorts to close their positions, ensure brokers liquidate for them if they do not close, and ask brokers to deal with the matter of millions of synthetic shares so only the genuine retail investors of MMTLP get their entitlement to next bridge. So that's the complaint. So go ahead and share that. I believe I've been told it only takes 5 minutes. So you can edit that, you can customize it, you can add on anything else that you wish. But I think this could make a change. Final thing I'd like to do is share some opinions on what may happen going forward. So first of all, I do believe behind the scene there are very strong challenges going on, strong legal arguments. I think the company's legal team will certainly be fighting for the retail and fighting for justice. So definitely that is going ahead. I also believe that there are a number of options here going forward, but in my opinion, all options are still available. But I also think what the key problem for the market makers and the shorts, especially the hedge funds, was that if trading was to go ahead on Friday and also on Monday, what would have happened is, we know the vast majority of retail were not selling. So if you remember the day on Thursday, last day of trading, it was down in excess of 58%. Why did it go down? We know hardly anybody was selling. So the volume suggested that hardly anybody sold, but the price went down. So why did the price go down? The reason why the price went down is the vast majority of shares were going to be synthetic shares. So that is a problem for the brokers to deal with. So if you as an investor have bought shares, even if they are synthetic, it's not your problem. You still have the entitlement. It's the broker's responsibility to fix that and now conveniently they don't need to allegedly fix it right now because there is no trading, and also allegedly they don't need to don't need to close their positions right now because of no trading. So this is something that has happened, and what the overall situation is. Shorts generally don't like losing. They're nearly always successful. That's why they part of multi-billion pound hedge fund companies. They do lose, but in this case they were going to lose. The squeeze was going to happen, but obviously a very, very small, very rarely used rule was introduced. So if you have a look at the complaint, that was obviously something that we're going to look at going forward. I think there are a number of options open to the company, and I think all options are available. The other final message I would like to share with you is there is a chance that trading could continue. We could get the 2 days back, but it will be subject to negotiation and challenges from the legal team. But for you to benefit in any run-up, you will still need to have your shares. So any shares transferred through AST will not be tradable no matter what. So that is the key thing to bear in mind for your own personal decision. If you're happy to get NextBridge, then that's fine. As far as I'm concerned, I think there are no key differences to the value of assets for NextBridge. Those are still something that's not affected by the current market situation. But overall, it is a very, very changing situation. We are going to expect lots of developments and news, and it is very fluid. But finally, let's keep an eye on what's going on. Express your concerns, contact your local authorities and also Congress if that's applicable. So finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.